Welcome back to Already Overbooked. Today, I'm diving into a fantastic book. We have Dark Bloom by Molly McCabery, a chilling post apocalyptic horror novel that brings really fresh intensity to survival stories. So, if you're into dark themes, complex characters, and suspense that keeps you on the edge of your seat, this one really might be for you. So, during this non spoiler review, I'll be going over the plot, the characters, the writing styles, themes, and of course, the pros and cons. So take a seat, relax as we jump into the review of Dark Bloom. All right, so Dark Bloom is set in a world devastated by a disease that turns humans into vicious, cannibalistic creatures. Dark Bloom really follows two main characters. We have Kate and Nick. We have Nick, who is a former Marine who is haunted by his past in service. He is tough, he's prepared, and really at his core, still holds a strong sense of duty to protect others. And then we have Kate, who is recently freed from a brutal captivity. Kate is fierce, she is resilient, and she really learned even before the apocalypse not to trust easily. And she really tries to rely on her instincts to try to navigate a world now that feels more dangerous every single day. So, as Kate and Nick join forces, they really go through and start facing external threats from the infected and from other desperate survivors. And in this novel, isn't just about running from danger, it's about confronting your inner demons, understanding what it means to truly be a survivor, and how human nature changes when society rules no longer apply. So, jumping in now into the character exploration, our main protagonist is Kate. She is flawed. She is a multi dimensional protagonist who really starts the story with a raw intensity. Now, she did just escape captivity and she is deeply affected by her past. But rather than letting her trauma really define her, Kate actively takes control of her life. And it's incredibly powerful to go through and watch Kate grow as a character throughout this novel. Now, she's fierce, she's smart, she's very guarded at times, definitely with certain situations, which all of this makes her a really true and real, authentic, heartbreaking character. Then we have Nick. As I mentioned, he is a Marine with a conscience. He's seen the worst of humanity at war, but he's also deeply, deeply committed to helping and protecting other people. Really, sometimes even at the cost of his own safety, he puts himself out there first. There is a unique contrast between Nick's tactical mindset and his emotional vulnerability. One of them keeps him alive and keeps him on track to make sure that he needs to go through and survive, while the other avenue is putting him in very dangerous situations all throughout the novel, while you're literally yelling at the book going, Nick, no, don't do that, bad idea. So it's a lot of fun going through. You see a lot of flaws and a lot of moral dilemmas bring to the tension of the story, and it adds a lot of layers between Kate and Nick, and their dynamic is really a huge highlight of Dark Bloom. They end up growing a bond that builds starts out really on necessity and then eventually leads to trust and more after that really groups them together. So their relationship really brings an extra layer of dimension to the novel that's hard to go through and look away. The writing style is descriptive without being overly detailed, which is really crucial in a story where you need to keep suspense. The world is very dark, it is very gritty, there's hopeless at times, yet the story manages to slip in moments of beauty and reflection that makes the characters' lives feel more real. The action scenes are sharp, they're intense. They really keep you on the edge of your seat, but balances those intensity moments with slower introspective moments where you really get inside the mind of the characters and you really start to understand why they make the decisions that they do. I know I didn't agree on a lot of what they were doing in the story, but I understood why. I understood what the reasoning was. Molly did an amazing job on giving them great backstories. The writing is direct. It's almost brutal at times, which works perfectly in setting up a bleak type of story as this one is. The structure of the novel complements its style perfectly. The story is written in short, sharp chapters, which creates a fast pace and keeps the tension very high. You're always left wanting to know what happens next. These short sections alternate between intense action sequences and slower introspective moments where the characters confront the external evil that they're dealing with and also dealing with their internal past experiences and fears and thoughts and their internal demons they have to go through and fight for. This is a thoughtful balance between these two, so it doesn't feel like one's overarching the other one, which is it's very good in this type of story. Just when you feel the suspense is at its tipping point, there's a moment of reflection where you can breathe, where it still keeps the overall atmosphere heavy and immersed, but it's not too much of just the violence of this world. And the writing is direct. It's almost brutal at times, which works perfectly with the bleakness of the story. There is a rawness in the portrayal of survival and desperation that feels very true to life. Molly doesn't shy away from difficult moments, and that makes the stakes feel incredibly real. Now, jumping into the themes, because Dark Bloom isn't just a survival horror story, there's a lot more going on beneath the surface. One of the central themes here is trust. Who deserves it? How is it earned? At what cost? For Kate, trusting Nick or anyone else really feels almost impossible after her traumatic experiences, but her journey throughout the novel highlights how essential trust can be, even in a world as dark as the world they're living in right now. Another major theme is the struggle to maintain humanity when everything is falling apart. Both Nick and Kate are both forced to make impossible choices that test their morals and the ones that are going to push them to the limits. We see how much they're willing to sacrifice to stay true to themselves. And it's this complexity that makes the novel more than just a horror story. Again, Dark Bloom is about survival, yes, but it's also about resilience, redemption, and finding hope in unexpected places. So, jumping into the pros and cons, we'll start with the pros first. I think I was clear. We have complex, in-depth characters, both for Kate and Nick. Really pulls you into the story. They're well developed, they are flawed, and you just can't help but root for both of them. There is a tense atmosphere. The world is vivid, it's dark, it's dangerous, and every scene feels like something could go horribly wrong at any moment. There are very strong themes of morality, trust, humanity are all integrated, adding layers and layers and layers onto the plot. I really enjoy the writing style. It's direct, it's to the point, but it also has moments of beauty that offers a reprieve from all the horror and stuff that's happening within this story. Some of the cons in this, while I did enjoy the introspective parts, there are a few moments where the pacing kind of slowed down a little too much for me. There was limited world building as we did go through and focus more on the character side and less on the broader post-apocalyptic setting. So if you're someone who loves deep world building, you might find it a bit lacking here. we do meet a lot of different people, a lot of different side characters, but the world itself isn't as big as what I was hoping. There is a very intense Bleak story, so it's not necessarily a con, but it's worth noting. If you prefer lighter themes, I know this is apocalyptic, but still there's some that has lighter themes than this story. This story goes over some very deep topics that is not for the faint of hearts. There is situations that happen to Kate that the author does not stay away from. So it's very, very hard to read at some points, not by the writing style, not by the characters, but the topics it was going through and talking about. Now on to my final recommendations. Dark Bloom is gripping. It is emotional journey through a post-apocalyptic landscape that's unforgiving as a really thought-provoking story. I ended up rating this a 7 out of 10. I really, really like this book. I think I read it in one day. It kept me going. There was nothing about it that I didn't want to know next. Every chapter ended with, okay, one more chapter. So it was well written. Highly recommend it. So if you're up for a story that pushes boundaries and explores what it truly means to survive, Dark Bloom is a powerful, unforgettable read. So thank you so much for watching. Please let me know down in the comments if you read Dark Bloom, or if you're planning on reading Dark Bloom, or if there's another post-apocalyptic book that I should go through and check out. And as always, don't forget to like, subscribe. You know what to do. Till I see you in the next one.